behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Paul Mash TV. Paul Mash TV.
Hello there, it's Paul Mask TV again. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode. We'll get to our interview in just a moment. But before we do, don't forget there's that subscribe button and the bell below you there. Just click them both. And anytime a new episode comes your way, you'll be notified. And feel free to comment on the comment section. We'd love to hear from you there. And we have Facebook as well. It's facebook.com/PaulMashTV. And you can follow us there, send us an inbox, comment on everything you see. And we'd love to hear from you in email as well. PaulMashTV, all one word, at gmail.com. And if you're a band or a solo artist that want to be on the show, send us an email and we'll show you how to do that. But if you're just simply a fan, we'll love fan mail as well. So send us a fan letter and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And all this is going to be recapped at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Blue Ridge, Georgia today, we have Robbie Litt. Very talented artist, and I think you're going to agree. And we're going to get right to that interview, which starts right now. Okay, here we are with the interview as promised. And with us from Blue Ridge, Georgia, we have Robbie Litt with us today. Thanks for joining us, Robbie.
Thanks for having me, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to have you here today. And tell everybody about how it all got started for you, because, you know, everyone has their own start in music. Let's hear your story.
Oh, wow. I'm originally from a place called Georgian Bay, Ontario, Canada. I grew up kind of in the middle of the Great Lakes. My parents were musicians. I always had musical instruments around the house. And I started playing bass guitar actually when I was about 14 probably. And couldn't get a good solid guitarist. So my dad kind of taught me a couple chords on the guitar and I started playing guitar. And I took my first paid show when I was probably 15 years old. And I looked a little older, so I'd kind of sneak into the bars and play some solo stuff, open mics and whatnot. And I pretty much played professionally from the time I was 16 till now. So yeah, it's a long story, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it is a good story too, and I'm glad that you found music and that it makes you happy, and hopefully you'll be around for a long time.
Thank you. So,
well, what were some of the influences that you grew up with that helped influence you to be the artist that you are today?
well, my dad listened to a lot of the 70s stuff, and I mean, I was born in 71, so he couldn't. I mean, my parents had 5 kids, so my dad he couldn't play as much as I did or do. So but he missed the music, so he'd always DJ whenever he could. That was the closest thing he'd get to playing out, and that's how we put it. And so we always had these 45s around, everything from the Beatles to Led Zeppelin to Gordon Lightfoot to Neil Young to the Rolling Stones to just all that 70s kind of stuff. And I guess you could say I cut my teeth on that stuff, and it meant a lot to me growing up. That music was really important to me. Inspired everything I did, everything I've ever written is kind of from that stuff, that era. Bob Seger, Guess Who, The Who, all those bands.
Yeah, exactly. And Gordon Lightfoot, he was a legend, obviously. And like you said, the Beatles. I mean, you can't really talk about legends unless you mention them, because
no, it's true.
They inspired all genres of music, really. So,
yep.
Well, tell everybody that's watching this right now, they may want to say to themselves, I want to download your music or follow you on social media. Tell everybody how you can do that.
Spotify is a good place. It kind of they have a counter on Spotify, and it kind of it's how a lot of bands, as you know, get kind of rated and judged by their numbers on Spotify. YouTube, all the major platforms have my music. Just look up Robbie Litt, ROBBIELITT, and I really appreciate the support. So yeah, please. By all means, please do that.
Okay, everybody go to Spotify and get his music. I know he would love you for that. And
I sure will.
We're going to watch this music video here. Tell us the name of the song, and Georgia Wine, I'm sorry. And tell us a little bit about that song. I really love it, and I know everybody will too, but tell us a little story about that song.
So we lived in Georgia. I say me and my wife, Ruth Ann, she plays bass for me. And we play together as a duo sometimes. But we lived in Jacksonville before we lived in Georgia. We moved to Georgia about 2 years ago. But before that, she was a police officer in Jacksonville, Florida, for 21 years. And Jacksonville, Florida it's an awesome city, and there's lots of music venues, like over 300, I think, in just the Jacksonville area. But it's also kind of a noisy, violent place to live, and it can be stressful, especially what she was doing for a living. And that song was inspired just by driving up I-75 north up to Georgia. We bought a place just before she retired, and it just felt so peaceful and like a little sanctuary up in the mountains. And that song was inspired by that. There's kind of really beautiful wineries everywhere and just rolling hills and mountains and streams. And that's where that song came from. It's just driving up there, kind of set a home base that we kind of established there.
You know, it is a great song, as I mentioned, and I heard it again today, and it's really awesome. And I know, and as I said, I know will love it out there, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But I think that's all we need right now. Robbie, and we thank you so much for being on the show. Come back again sometime. We'd love to plug something else for you if you ever want to.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Here it is, Georgia Wine, right here on Paul Mash TV, and it starts right now.